Hi everyone, welcome to this video. I wanted to talk today about meditation because I think when I started meditating, like the thing that I found the hardest was that there's no objective way of knowing if you're doing it right or wrong. And I feel like I'm the kind of person who needs a lot of validation, and so I found very unsettling that no one could tell me like, well done, you're doing this right, keep going, you have the right technique, like. And I just found that very frustrating because I would sit down and I would be like, what am I supposed to feel? Like, am I just wasting time? Am I, like, does it make sense? You know? And if you can relate to any of these feelings or thoughts, um, and I think, as I said, this is especially common when you just start meditating. I hope that this video can, be reassuring and because I've been there and I wanted to share a bit like what helped me and how it changed over time. So the first thing that I want to share with you is just like don't don't stress too much about it. Like you're probably if you're taking some time during your day to avoid distractions, sit in silence or in stillness or whatever it is and pay some attention to what's going on inside of you, like that's you're doing it. Like it's don't look for perfection right away because meditation can mean different things for different people at different times. So there's not one right way of doing it. Whatever you're doing, just, go for it. You're on the right track. Uh, the second tip that I have, or maybe first tip, the previous one was just like encouragement. The first actual tip that I have that really helped me during meditation is that the truth is that sometimes when you sit in meditation, it can be overwhelming. It can be, um, you can be hit by this wave of like thoughts, and you're like, whoa, like where does this come from? It's like, it's not always easy, and it can make it very hard to keep up a meditation practice because every time you sit down you're like, I don't want to see this, I don't want to hear this. So what I found helpful was to prioritize mindfulness over meditation. And what I mean by that is instead of focusing on like the, sitting down practice, closing my eyes and observing my thoughts, I started focusing on being more mindful during the day in the daily activities that I was already doing. And the main thing for me was to stop carrying my headphones around with me. So as I left the house, I would actively leave my headphones behind, so that I had like no distraction or like less distraction. So I would, you know, commute to university or to work or whatever and sit on the bus or cycling without music, without podcast. And that allowed me to be really present and notice things around me in my surroundings that I had never maybe paid attention to. And overall, it allowed me to be present in the environment I was in. Um, and I think this was the first step, like not having distractions, to like notice things around me. And eventually, when that became I became comfortable with that, those moments like commuting in the bus or in the train also became a moment to like look inwards and say like, okay, what kind of thoughts am I thinking, how am I feeling, am I worried about something, um, or even like, oh yeah, I'm stressed about this presentation, I'm stressed about this deadline, like I haven't called that person, like all these things, these thoughts would come up, and I could dose it during the day because I wasn't just like saving this 10-20 minutes when I was sitting down to, I wasn't waiting until then to look or to pay attention to my thoughts, but I was dosing it during the day. And I think this is something you could try if you find very intense of it, actually sitting down. um and also, yeah, know that like meditation doesn't have to be sitting down. Like you can, um because meditation, and this is like another, sorry, this is messy, but like the second tip that I have is that meditation, like, be realistic about your goals. If your goal in meditation is to like have a clear mind and not think about anything, like that's not going to happen. That's not achievable, because the when your eyes are open, your eyes will see things, and when your ears, well, unless you have like ear canceling noise canceling headphones, sorry, then you're gonna hear sounds, right? So it's the same for your mind. Your mind will think things, and it's not a bad thing. So maybe I invite you also to change your goal. If your goal is to have this like blank mind, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but because that's not a realistic outcome. So going back to the previous point, focus on being more intentional and mindful about what you're doing and what you're thinking. And even like, yeah, I think, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I think it's the most powerful is bringing intention and mindfulness to the daily things. Something that just came to my mind is also like, when you're doing the boring things at your house, like when you're cleaning the kitchen or washing the dishes, when you're doing your nighttime routine, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're showering, like use those moments which are like boring moments to pay attention to your inner world. I think that's a huge point to start. And you'll see that meditation will become easier. And my last tip is that, maybe I've kind of said it already, sorry if this is like a bit messy, but meditation is not like, there's not one right technique, so don't be afraid to go out and explore. There's like a bunch of resources and information online, but also I think it's always better to like go to, I don't know, a center or like a school. Like I'm sure there's like some groups or clubs that do meditation where you live, and try out different things. Like meditation is not, if you don't enjoy the boring, I don't find it boring, but but like sitting down and staying still and in silence, you can try maybe working with visualizations. You can try working with like walking meditations, or there's meditations about sounds. Like there is so much out there that I'm sure that you can find something that works for you. Because the real thing about meditation is about being aware of your inner reality and your inner world, because at the end that's what we're so focused always on, like what is outside, what is around us, how we look, how, like, yeah, how the external reality is, and we're not really used to pay attention to what's inside, and that's arguably a lot more important, because it does shape what your reality is. And so paying attention to your thoughts, you'll start noticing that maybe you have the same patterns, you have the same like ideas or worries that keep coming up, and it will help you also understand better, this in my experience, the situation where you're with, what is going on around you. And if you, yeah, I don't know, one last tip, if you're just started meditating and it's overwhelming, also just remember that your thoughts are not your enemies, and it's a great opportunity for you to get to know yourself better. So, dose it if it's too much, but take some time in whatever way or form it's possible to be free from distractions and pay attention to what's going on inside of you. That's it. I was going to say something else, but I think that's it. Yeah. Hope this was helpful. And good luck on your meditation journey.